Hello everybody, the Good here. Today I'm going to show you how to put softer springs in the Shengshou Pyraminx. So this is a fairly simple mod that you can do on your Shengshou Pyraminx, and I'll show you the results. It'll go from having a very clicky feeling like this to having a much lighter feel like this. You see there's much less of a click. It just feels much nicer. It's kind of like what putting LanLan springs in a Moyu or Shengshou Cube would do to the feel. Personally, I use springs from the Dian Pyraminx, which are a little bit longer than the ones on the Shengshou. However, they are much lighter, and so it will create a much better result. You can also use springs from a LanLan Cube, which will be more this size, but I don't have any laying around. But if you do have an extra LanLan Cube, you can use those. You can buy a LanLan spring set for $1 off the cubicle the next time you order from them, just in case you don't have any laying around now. Since this cube has more ball bearings than the Pyraminx, you'll have enough springs plus extra for this Pyraminx. I'm only going to replace the springs in the actual mechanism of the puzzle and not the tips, just because it makes it easier and I don't have enough springs to do both. To begin this mod, take off one of the tips by rotating it like this and just prying it off. Now you can get a screwdriver and make sure it fits the screw really well, because these screws are generally low quality and will strip really easily, and just unscrew it. Once the screw is completely undone, you can simply take it off like that and remove these pieces. You can set off these edge pieces to the side, and this part too. We'll just be wanting to use the center. So I like to just put this tip on very lightly and just pull this part out. Make sure not press it down all the way, because I can mess it up. So now we just have the centerpiece. Now we're going to try and pry it open. So what we can do is stick a sharp thing like a knife inside, just a hole right there, and just kind of pry it back and forth, and you'll hear it come loose. And then just keep going around the piece, doing that on every side. Not too hard, so that it'll break, just pretty lightly, just like that. Now you want to get it so there's a pretty good sized hole there. You can get a screwdriver in it and just pry the whole thing up. I found that some pieces come apart easier than other pieces, but that's just up to how the puzzle is made. So the piece with the colors on it will have a spring that's just open right there, and that's for the tip. You can replace those if you want. It'll be really easy and just an extra thing, but I'm not going to with this mod. First, we'll take off this plastic part. You can just grip it from here if you want. Now you'll see there's 3 little springs and ball bearings in there. What I like to do is get something like a pair of tweezers and just stick it in between 2 of the little gaps on the spring. So this may take a second. There we go. So you see we just have it grabbed right there, and we can just squeeze together and pull it out, just like that. We can set this spring off to the side, as we'll never need it again. Now we can grab the springs that you chose earlier, one of them, and just let this ball bearing roll down into its spot. Push it in on top of the ball bearing, push it down and into its spot. Maybe a little bit difficult to do. There you go. Pause the video now and repeat this with all the 3 springs inside of the cube. There we go. Now before you put this plastic cap back on, you'll want to make sure that you're putting it on in the right direction. So what we can do to make sure that you're doing that is, you see on this colored piece right here, there's a piece of plastic sticking up right there, piece of plastic right there, but no piece of plastic right there. You see there's a gap right there. And on here, if you look in the gaps right there, no plastic there, no plastic there, and plastic there. You see there's an extra little piece right there. And so the part on here where there's no plastic and the part where there's extra plastic here line up like this. So if we just put these together real quick, we can see that the ball bearing, where this extra little part sticks out on this side right here. And so we can put this cap on with the extra part sticking out on the same side. Just make sure the hole's lined up and then put it in. So now we can just put these 2 pieces back together, make sure the spring hasn't fallen out of that part, and just push them together until you hear a snap. Now what we can do is take the hardware right here and just pry off the cap, and then bring it back onto the cube and screw it back in. So what I like to do is leave the tip off to indicate that we've already done that piece, and then go to another side and do the exact same thing. Now once you finish modding each of the centers, you can make sure that the cube is tensioned correctly, put the tips back on, and just assemble it. And now you see it has a much lighter feel to it, and in my opinion it feels much nicer. Again, I'm not quite sure how it would turn out if you used LanLan springs, but you can post in the comments what you think. Anyway, if this video helped you, make sure to leave a like down below and a suggestion for a future video like this, and you can even subscribe to notify when a future video like this comes out. Anyway, if you have any other questions or comments, you can leave them in the comments below. I'll see you guys next time. Bye!